So, just like with life, every once in a while you have changes. Our podcast, it has some changes. I'm going to explain to you exactly why we're doing it. I think you're really going to like the changes. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast here on YouTube on TSE TV. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And as always, you know I love to bring some value to you. One of the things that we're going to bring value to you on today is about our show and how we're trying to make sure it is valuable to you overall. So we are doing some changes. It's been a while. This is the first day in December, the first episode in December, and you'll see with our episode now we're changing several things. The length of the episode, first off, is a little bit different, and also you'll see if you're listening to this if you look at your Apple Podcasts or whatever directory you use, you'll see how it's just organized a tad bit different. But let me explain why, first off. Back in March, something crazy happened worldwide. There was a pandemic. Most of you, and I'm going to share some stats, started working from home. We decided to do a listener survey because we were thinking about this internally, but then one of our friends on social media said this as well on LinkedIn, and then also one of my coaching clients also mentioned this. So here's what we did. Our listenership, when we asked them, this was a decent sample of our listeners who participate in listening to the show, who listen regularly. A lot of you are sales professionals or entrepreneurs who have to sell or get the opportunity to sell. I'm trying to get down to the data here, so you can see I'm stalling just a little bit. But one of the things that we asked was, how many of you are traveling to work right now? How many of you listen to our episode regularly? You said yes, all of you. How did you hear about our podcast? Thank you. A lot of you said you heard me speak, which I'm grateful for. And you're all on LinkedIn. And by the way, if you're not connecting with me on LinkedIn, please go ahead and do so. My name will pop up there, Donald C. Kelly, at the bottom of the screen. Just hit me up, Donald C. Kelly. But here's where it came in. With so many people working from home, this listener pointed out to us, I am not driving as much, and usually I listen to your podcast when I was driving. Mind blown, right? Think about it. Yeah, the typical work traffic is anywhere from, the travel time is like 25 to 35, 40 minutes, depending on what part of the country you're listening, but about 30 minutes is that average travel time. So when we asked our listeners what length, since you're not traveling anymore, what is a good podcast length for you? 37% said anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes. Then another 25% said about 10 to 15 minutes, and 20% said 15 to 20 minutes. So we as an organization decided that we're going to focus, do a concentrated effort to focus our episodes and make them 20 minutes. If we can make them 20 minutes, that's going to be great for you. You don't have to listen for a very long time. And you're at home, you're probably doing the dishes, you're listening between calls. You're doing things at home already. And so you're not traveling so much. Let's make the episode more punchy for you. And that brings us to point number 2. So with the episode length being shorter, it allows us to take out some of the things that may not necessarily, we could do without, right? So, and one of the things you'll see is that in the guest introduction, I'm not going to give a lot of time for the guest to give an introduction, tell us more about you and what you do. I cut out that part. So then now in the conversation, I'm just going in at the very beginning and explaining during the opening. Hey, today we're going to listen to how we can, write quick, better emails. And we're talking with Joe, who is the CEO of emails.com, and he brings a wealth of knowledge. Listen to the first thing that he talks about, and then we're going to go into that episode. Again, cut out a little bit there so we can help with that. The other piece that you'll see with our episode as well is that now with that being that punchy, that much shorter, we are going to have, I personally believe, a higher caliber of content because we're going to make sure that the content is on point. The questions that we're asking, that I'm asking the right questions because we only have 20 minutes of time to make sure we get that information in. Will some of our episode go over to 25 minutes? Yes, but our goal is to keep them average 20 minutes for you. Cool? All right, now here's the other part too. How many, we also asked you how long, where do you guys listen to the podcast? And a lot of you said Apple Podcasts. 45% of you said you listen on Apple Podcasts, 20% listen on Spotify, and 10% said somewhere else. Some of you have other places like Google or Stitcher or TuneIn. Here's one of the things that we saw when we went to Apple Podcasts. We have a lot of episodes, tons of episodes, and that causes a little bit of makes it overwhelming for you at times where you're scrolling and trying to figure out which to listen to. So we're going to do a little bit of tweak with our episodes. So we're going to pool our episodes in seasons, so to speak, not necessarily like physically seasons in the directory per se, but in these little groupings is what I want to call them. You'll be able to find episodes that are related to the exact thing for that run. So right now we're going into productivity. So the next episode you'll hear after this one is our episode with Skip. And Skip is going to talk about how we can ensure that our team members are actually being productive and working effectively even when we're working remotely. After him, we're going to have episodes that are tying to productivity. So those next 6 episodes or one season is going to be all around productivity. After that, we'll have a season on goal setting, 6 episodes, and then 6 episodes on motivation, 6 episodes on prospecting, and so forth. So then now when you're looking at our podcast directory and you're coming for an episode, you can say, man, I'm able to go and see right now those 6 episodes are prospecting. I need some picker-upper as I'm going to go prospect. Or I need an episode on motivation. Boom, I can see motivation right there. Or I need something on, I'm going to in a discovery call. Can I listen to a 20-minute episode from Donald real quick and get some ideas? Bam, you can see that those episodes are grouped together. Now, this is not going to be our back catalog, but day one moving forward, right? I'm just trying to make it easier for you because I know in Apple Podcasts, it can be a little confusing at times to kind of see all of those episodes. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about too is that since most of you are listening from home, and again, most of you are working from home and you're not commuting, we just want to make it again that it's a great listening experience for you and that you can actually implement the things right away and that you're not overwhelmed too much. So essentially, that's kind of like the whole slick with the whole thing. We're bringing down our episode length from, sometimes we go 40 minutes, making sure that they're only 20 minutes long, 25 minutes. And then we want to make sure that the content is appealing to you. So we're focusing on questions or areas that you have concern in, and then also more concern in. And then also we want to make sure those episodes are pooled together in quote unquote series or a mini series so that you can then jump in, you can listen, you can hear what these guests have to say, and you can hear what I have to say as well. Now, this is something cool. And the other thing that we're going to do is more real life examples. So when we do these episodes, you'll hear, I will bring on a couple of my customers or some of our prospects or people that we know in our community and do live coaching sessions on the call. So let's say we're focusing on goal setting. One of our first ones you're going to hear is one of our team members is one of our business development rep. His name is Jermaine, and he's trying to figure out how to make better goals. So I'm going to coach him on an episode that you could hear on what I would do with a client to help them to prepare and to be able to set effective goals and to coach them through that process. So not just theory, you're getting real life stuff, you get some real life examples, as well as you're getting episodes that are a little bit more punchy, and you're getting episodes based on content that you want, and they're shorter. Come on. Merry freaking Christmas, right? That's a great deal. I would love to hear from you though. If you didn't get a chance to take our survey, you want to do the survey, just simply go to the salesevangelist.com/survey. Again, the salesevangelist.com/survey, and you could take advantage of doing our listener survey. We appreciate that. It goes a long way and helps us out tremendously. Now, that's the change. That's the big difference. This episode, historically, my episodes have tried to be a little bit shorter, but today they're definitely shorter. And this one is not going to be as long, but we want you to be able to get tremendous value. You understand why we're making this change now, why we have things set up this way. And I hope that you are able to see some amazing, amazing benefits from it as well. And that you would tell people about our podcast. We appreciate when you do that. It goes a long way. Again, as always, I share stuff like this because I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. And I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.